Hi folks, this is all the fruit, and here I am at the famous Philosopher's spot in Heidelberg. Of all the interesting fruit growing areas of fruit parks in Heidelberg, the Philosopher's spot is actually the most interesting one, which normal tourists are gonna see without going out of their way just to find some nice fruit. And so I'm gonna make 3 videos about the Philosopher's spot. The first one is the western part. Here I'm starting at the junction of the Philosopher's part and the Albert-Übele-Straße, and then I will continue towards the Philosophers Garden and end somewhere east of the Philosopher's Garden. Then I'll do another video about the eastern part of the most popular stretch of the Philosopher's part, above the old bridge and the Schlangenweg. And then I'll do a third video about the Eichendorf-Anlage, which is a collection of Mediterranean and subtropical plants along the Philosopher's Path. So let's get started. As you can see, the climate here is pretty mild. We have quite interesting climatic conditions here, which I will cover a little bit later. As you can see, whenever you plant something Mediterranean or subtropical here, like this lavender, it's gonna go wild and spread. A little bit down there is Euphorbia caracias, a Mediterranean euphorbia shrub, which also gets naturalized here. The lavender gets naturalized here in pavement cracks. We have quite a number of pretty large Trachycarpus fortunei palms. Those palms here are not frozen, I think they are in drought stress. And Trachycarpus fortunei has edible fruit. I'm filming here against the sun, but maybe you can see the huge bunches of edible fruit. They have quite a sweet pulp between the skin and the seed. It's not much, it's about 1 millimeter thick, but it's quite sweet and tasty. Lots of different bamboos. I think this here is Sasa pumila, but we also have some quite more giant bamboos around here. This is some berberis. Is this Berberis tervinii? No, I don't think so. This is some of our ornamental berberis, which are all more or less edible. Prunus laurocerasus, which also produces kind of edible fruit. More bamboo, no idea what this one is. An elderberry shrub with edible fruit, which have already fallen to the ground. Here we have some Oregon grape, Mahonia aquifolium. Some new, very poisonous plant, but with edible fruit. However, you have to know how to eat them. Here a collection of different Viburnum species. I forgot the name of this one. This is Viburnum rotundophyllum. Well, the sources are not so clear whether Viburnum fruit are edible or not. They don't seem to be toxic, but you shouldn't eat too many of them. Here, a hazelnut, Corylus avellana, also with edible nuts. So, here there is a stretch with less to no fruit trees for like 50 meters, but don't despair, the more interesting part is coming soon. So about the climate here. Oh no, I gotta do this a little bit later when I can show you some of the climatic conditions here a little bit better. So let's see, what have we got here? Oh, here is a feral Corylus colurna, the tree hazelnut. This can form trees over 20 meters tall, also with edible nuts. Some rows of the canine group. German medlar, Bespilus germanica. and an apple tree, Malus domestica. Some more roses with rose hips. Firethorn, Puracantha coccinea. And here Cotoneaster, most probably horizontalis. They're all edible, but the fruit are not of high quality. Here quite a big and old mulberry tree. It has black fruit, but it's still Morus alba. Although I suspect that all those Morus alba with black fruit or with purple fruit are actually hybrids with Morus nigra. But habitus-wise and from the shape of the leaves and the fruit and everything else, it's clearly Morus alba. And here we have the black fruit of this Morus alba. Here we are starting with the, well, Mediterranean and subtropical plants which the city of Heidelberg has planted. Some young Prunus lusitanica. This is the Portuguese type of the laurel cherry. Here some grapevines without any support. That's quite unusual. Fejoa. Some pronounce it Fejoa, but Fejoa is the correct name. This is a guava species which is cultivated usually in subtropical climates. Here in Germany, in Heidelberg, I've seen a lot of shrubs. Some of them also do flower, but I still haven't seen ripe fruit. Well, here somebody spit out some tomato seeds, so we have some feral tomatoes. More fejoa, more grapes. Here some other berberis, could be Berberis juliana in this case. Here Prunus mahaleb, which is often used as a rootstock for other Prunus species. Here a huge tree that looks a lot like an almond, and yeah, you can eat the fruit like almonds, but it's actually the hybrid between almond and peach. It's the peach almond. Well, here you have some blackthorn. However, I don't see a single fruit on this blackthorn. And here, a very small specimen of the Armenian bramble or Armenian blackberry, Rubus armeniacus. Here we have a Camellia, a close relative of the common tea, which is so popular in China, India, or Britain. However, this one is an ornamental species and not the one used for tea. You could still use the leaves for tea, they would just probably not be too tasty. Here an ornamental hibiscus, a close relative to this plant which makes most fruit teas taste very sour and be very red. So this doesn't come from some strange fruit, but actually from a hibiscus flower. Here, white thorn, Crategus, probably monogyra, and right behind it the black thorn. So the Hawthorn or white thorn in German is the plant with the pinkish reddish fruit, and the black thorn is the plant with the blue fruit right behind it. Both in the front, not the shrubs in the back. So Hawthorn, Crategus, probably monogyra or oxyacantha, and blackthorn, Prunus spinosa, right behind it. Here another hazelnut. This part is the Eichendorff-Anlage. I'll make a dedicated video about it. But right here, I will not come here for the Eichendorff-Anlage video. So here there is some pear, Pyrus. This could be wild pear, Pyrus puraster. The fruit are very small and look very hard. So I think this is a wild pear, which is kind of rarish, but not too rare here in the area. What else have we got here? Those vines are hops. used in beer production. Now let's go down to the little Philosophers Garden. As you can see, this place is quite popular with tourists. You are rarely alone here, not even at night and much less during the day. Here another medlar tree or shrub, Mespilus germanica. It will be ripe in a couple months, around November. Here a Prunus laurocerasus, which kind of got confused by the mild winter and by the drought. It's flowering again in August. The other Prunus laurocerasus are ripe by now, but this one is flowering right now. Some more Trachycarpus fortunei palms. But the ones which are too close to me, they don't have ripe edible fruit. What a pity. Laurus nobilis. The bay leaf or laurel. From this tree come the bay leaves which are being used as a spice. Here some cotoneaster with unripe fruit. Some more hops, but I don't see any flowers which I could show you. Well, here are the fruit of Trachycarpus fortunei, the little kidney-shaped fruit of Trachycarpus fortunei, but here they are not ripe. What a pity. Here we have the dewberry, Rubus caesius. However, no visible fruit. What a pity. This cotoneaster is most probably horizontalis. Yucca, the fruit of the yucca are also edible, but I don't like them. They are too bitter for me. Here's some bitter orange, bitter three-leaved orange, Poncirus trifoliata. The only orange you can cultivate comfortably in this part of Germany. I think this is a good spot to talk about the specific microclimate of this area. So the Philosopher's Path is one of the mildest climates in Heidelberg, which is in itself one of the mildest cities in Germany. Why is the climate so mild? Well, we are in southwestern Germany, near the Rhine. Those are the most mild areas of Germany. We are on a south-facing slope with a lot of terraces with rubble walls behind us. So this mountain is shielding us from the harsh northern winds. There is the Neckar River right beneath us, which is working like basically like an air conditioner. And also the old people around here, they are talking about some special föhn effect which affects the microclimate of only the first couple hundred meters of the Philosopher's Path. So it seems that a lot of winds come over this mountain, but when wind rises over a mountain and sinks again, it ends up warmer than before. And this effect can be felt only in the western parts of the Philosopher Path. Less than a kilometer east of here, there is a little city park, the Hölderlin-Anlage, which doesn't have this föhn effect. And over there, they plant a lot of Nordic species like rhododendrons and erica and stuff like that, and conifers. Although it's on the Philosopher's Path, on the same south-facing slope, on the same elevation, but it doesn't have this particularly mild climate to such an extent. So let's see what else grows here. A feral cherry plum. Here a cherry, a chestnut tree, some more yucca and hops. Here some quite small fruited variety of blue plums. And here a blood beech. Well, the beech nuts are also kind of edible, but not completely free of toxins, so people use them rather to make oil than to eat them in large quantities. Now let's continue a little bit along the Philosopher's Path. So this area here was the Philosophers Garden or Philosophers Gärtchen, but the area right above the path is called the Eichendorf-Anlage. That's where the big collection of Mediterranean and subtropical stuff is, which I will cover in a separate video. But now let's continue for about 100 meters along the Philosopher's Path. Here we have a walnut tree, Juglans regia, arguably the most important nut tree in Central Europe. Here again, two trees which are most probably peach almond. Could also be real almonds, but those have become quite rare, so most probably peach almond. Another walnut tree. Oh, let's see if I can show you one of the walnuts closer up. No, somebody has harvested all the walnuts which are reachable from the Philosopher's Path. What a pity. And they harvested them much too early, so no chance to find anything edible in those nuts. Here an ornamental cherry. No fruit on this one. But here the ginkgo plum. A female tree. So there will be lots of ripe fruit in autumn. Edible fruit with edible seeds. By the way, the ginkgo, despite looking like your average fruit tree, is actually a close relative of the conifers. Here we have the monkey puzzle tree, Araucaria araucana, with those huge cones with huge edible pine nuts inside. However, most of the ones here in Germany don't get pollinated, so it's quite hard to find the nuts, but when you find them, they are about the size of your finger, so it's really worth looking for them. Well, here you can see a shrubbery of giant bamboo and a couple apple trees, which you can find pretty much everywhere in Germany. Oh, here is some hops, which is at least flowering. No fruit yet on this one. But some nice hops flowers. That's not what you use for making beer. The stuff you use for making beer looks completely different, but I haven't seen it here yet, so maybe they are not in season yet. Well, here is a quince tree in the background, which you will probably not be able to recognize because the phone is not as good as my eyes. And also a couple of feral Quercus silex, a black oak, which basically defines the extent of the Mediterranean climate. Wherever the black oak grows in the wild, we have Mediterranean climate. Since it escapes here in Heidelberg and survives very well, I guess you could argue that the microclimate of the Philosophenweg is a Mediterranean microclimate. So here on this little Lieselotte-Platz or Lieselotte Square, or Lieselotte location, I'm finishing the first part of the Philosopher's Path video. Stay tuned for two more parts of the Philosophers path video. And don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe.